So I had a student ask me one time, if I'm trying to find out the maximum or minimum of an equation, how do I do it? Do I complete the square? Do I use a calculator? Do I use this, or does it really matter? Well, I think the most important thing you have to ask yourself is this: what does the question want you to do? If it wants you to complete the square, then you got to complete the square. If you are allowed to use your calculator, to use your calculator. If it says you want to use some alternate method, use the alternate method. But it's all dependent upon what the question asks. So I'm going to show you all three in this wonderful little summary here, and let's see what we can do. Now, the most important thing that you do here, though, first, is make sure you understand, are you finding a max or a min? And again, that's based on that value. That's the A value from your quadratic equation. That's this guy. So you remember that in that A value, if your A is positive, that means it's opening up. You're in fact finding a min. If that A is a negative, it's opening down. You're actually finding a max. Beautiful. Okay, so let's go on with this. So I picked a really, really nice, simple equation because I didn't want it to get bogged down in all the weird math that could possibly be there. So I want to use x squared plus 6x plus 10. It's a nice, really easy equation to use, and it'll be great for summarizing everything. Now, you remember that when you're dealing with the completing of the square, make sure you take the values that you have here that work, and you take that one value and you chuck it out and you leave it outside, and then go through the same procedure you always have done with completing the square. Take that guy, half of it, there you go, there's the 3, magic number. Oh! Okay, and then you square it right here, it becomes positive 9. Remember, what you add here, you have to take out here. Perfectly. Okay, so with that in mind then, let's go. Let's figure this out. This guy becomes x plus 3. There's the squared. Let's clean this guy up here to find that this is actually plus 1. With that in mind, let's look at the vertex now. The vertex then is minus 3, 1. Don't forget about that minus because of the original formula, which was y equals to ax minus p squared plus q. You got that flippy signy thing happening right there. Okay, so what does this information give you? This information gives you the x coordinate of the vertex. Yay, okay? But it also gives you your max or min value. You know and I know that this particular question, if you look at it, has a 1 up front, and that 1 is positive. So that means it's opening up, right? And you actually have a minimum value. So that means that 1 is now your minimum value. So that's how you find it, using completing the square. Now, the other way of doing this, of course, is using your calculator. So I'm going to boot up the calculator here. I'm going to have this right in front of us. And let's go figure it out using the calculator. So remember what our original question was. Our original question was this x squared plus 6x plus 10. Okay, so let's put that into our calculator. Here we go. Y equals to x squared plus 6x plus 10. I'm going to go over to the Zoom here, and I'm going to standardize this to make sure it's 10, 10, 10 in every direction. And if you look at this, I purposely picked this particular parabola so it fit really, really nicely in our window setting, and we don't have to fool around with that. Okay, now we have to figure out the vertex. So you go to your second, you go to your calc, which is on your trace button, and you find the minimum. There's number 3. Move this over so that you have the left bound, because that's what it's asking for first. There's the left bound, hit enter. Then go over to the right bound, hit enter. And then of course, yes. And there's that, the silliness of this calculator. Look at that, minus 2.999999999. Does that actually mean that you're going to have to write down minus 2.999? Of course not. You're going to write down minus 3 because that's what the vertex is. And it's at minus 3, 1. You actually see it right here and right here. Perfect. So let's go back to our notes here, and we use this as minus 3, 1. And I want to just confirm that. Sure enough, that's the same value there. So Whether you do this by completing the square or using a calculator, so far so good. We've got everything balancing out right. We've got two methods that we can solve this with. But do you remember this method here? This is kind of a different method, and a lot of teachers do not teach that method. And I've learned that through experience and talking to many, many people. They kind of say, oh no, that's part of the quadratic formula. We'll worry about that in chapter 4. No. Here's the thing about using it now, is you have a beautiful formula that allows you to find the x coordinate of the vertex. So why not use it? Now you got 3 different methods in order to do this and do this properly. All right, so check this out. You're probably saying to yourself, well, then I have to memorize this. No, you don't, because it's on your formula sheet. It's actually part of something called the quadratic formula that looks an awful lot like this. Minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. And guess what? Lo and behold, if you look on your formula sheet, you will find this. But lo and behold, there's the equation for the x vertex. And I want to prove that this works. Well, you're probably saying, well, I don't understand. What's the b? What's the a? What's the c? It's based on the same formula we've done before. ax squared plus bx plus c. There it is. You know and I know, look at this. Your a value right here is 1. Your b value, including the sign, in this case, it's a positive 6. And your c value is right here. That's going to be positive 10. That's really, really cool stuff. The only ones that you're interested in, though, is a and b. Why? Because that's what's in the formula right here. Do you see it? Perfect. Okay, so here we go. X equals to minus b, which is minus, oh, your b value is 6. Oh, hey, cool. There's 6 over 2 times your a. What was your a? Oh, there it is right there. It is 1. Check this out. This is going to freak you out because, look, minus 6 over 2 times 1 is 2 works out to be, oh, my gotcha. There it is, baby. It works out to be minus 3. That minus 3 is still, look at that. Even though it's in a mess here, there's my x coordinate of my vertex. Now, the only problem with that formula, it does not give you the y coordinate of the vertex. So how do we figure that out? It's actually pretty easy. You're going to take that minus 3, because you know it's the x, and you're going to pop it back into our original mess right here. So I'm going to rewrite the mess because we need to. It's x squared plus 6x plus 10. Now you're just going to take this minus 3 and you're going to pop it into wherever there's an x. Look at that. Now let's move this page up here so I've got some more room. There's my minus 3 squared. There's 6 times minus 3. Perfect. Plus the 10. Minus 3 squared. There she is in all her glory. There's a German girl again. 6 times minus 3, there's going to give you minus 18 plus 10. Add all that together, you'll be in for one heck of a surprise. It works to be 1. So your y equals to 1. And guess what? Your vertex is at minus 3 comma 1. There's your x value. There's your minimum value, and that's all good. Now, the beauty of this is now you've got a nice summary of all 3 methods to figure out the vertex. Now I got a surprise for you. I'm doing this live in front of my Math 20 class right now, and they want to say hello. So ready? 1, 2, 3. I hope you enjoyed that one. Woohoo!